No, you're fine. You're fine. All right, everybody out there, this is Docg. This is an incredible interview I've got coming for you right now. We're actually going to be on the live on the Roku channel, live on How About the Radio, live on my Facebook channel, my YouTube channel, everywhere.
Wow.
But this is going to be super incredible. I've got the wonderful and great Peppy Castro.
And partially naked.
Yeah, partially naked. The man that's been in how many bands? 5 bands, starting in Blues Magoos in the 60s, all the way up to Balance and other bands in between.
You know, I'd walk around to the pool there, the area. I don't know if you can see it, the pool area. This is on the Intracoastal in Florida.
Beautiful.
There's nothing but women out there, number one now. So that's ridiculous. I don't know how that happens to me. But if I walk too far away, I may lose the signal with the Wi-Fi. So I'm going to stay close. But yes, I'm in sunny Florida. I've been back and forth to New York 7 times this year. So I'm still enjoying it. You know, I'm just gonna, I hope I don't lose you. I think I'm gonna get my key and go inside. But let's see if I'm still on here. Am I still on?
You're still on right now.
All right. Well, then I'm gonna cop a seat in the sun and have a good moment. All right. So yeah. So
I lost you. I knew it. I freaking knew it. I did lose you. Come back, Peppy. Please come back.
Am I still with you?
I lost you for a little bit, but I think I don't have video. I have audio. Now I lost that too. Come back, Peppy. Just click on the link again and come back in. It's no big deal. But people, I got to tell you, this gentleman I'm talking to, he says he's 72. He's Sprite. He's moving around. He's in sunny Florida. He's enjoying the weather there, and he's just having a ball. We're live on the Roku channel too, guys. So I just want to tell you that. I'll put this on here so you can see it. But Peppy will be back in just a minute. We had a little problem with scheduling. That's probably my fault. It happens all the time. But I'm very excited to have this gentleman with us here. Just get this on for you. So it will be live. Yeah, there we are. Okay, there we are. Okay, we're live audio and video on the Roku channel. And you guys know that we're also live on HamiltonRadios.com. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll be able to view the Roku channel live, what we're doing live right there on HamiltonRadios.com. Many things coming out soon, too. A lot of things in the works. Business programs, proceeds, different things, working with different businesses and companies. Hamilton Radio is just on its way up, not on its way down, on its way up. We're still striving to be the best. We're still striving for everything, for everybody, and working on our way up the ladder. Hopefully we get Peppy back very soon, but Peppy will be back here talking about his many, many careers in all the different bands. We're going to talk about a little bit of his bands. Barnaby Bye was one of his bands. We're going to talk about that. Balance was a great band as well. He's been with so many damn bands. He's also going to be with different people in different bands coming in the future. So he's not done yet. He's definitely not done yet. He's like a child of the 60s, man of the 80s. Senior of the 90s, 2000s. I don't know. But anyway, I give this man a lot of credit to do what he has to do. Jimmy Aschenbender says, hi, Peppy. I don't know if you know Jimmy. Jimmy's with the Outsiders, good guitar player, and a great, great band, the Outsiders, coming out with new stuff too. I love the ability to bring people together. And hopefully when we get Peppy back, we can talk about that. But his idea of music, to me, with the Blues Magoos, oh, my God. Jimmy, can you imagine Blues Magoos without Peppy? You just can't, right? Because it's like he's part of the whole makeup of everything. And, I can't wait for him to come back soon so we can talk to him. He's in sunny Florida, guys. And He's going up to his room right now. We're going to talk to him in a couple minutes, have a little sit down with him. But Balance, I was just telling him, I said, I really love that song, Breaking Away. I mean, when I heard that song, the first thing I thought was, why is that a lost song? Why is that a song that not everybody plays? I play that song probably more often than others, but it doesn't mean that I'm the only one to play it. Oh, hi, Deborah Milstein. How are you, dear? How you doing? I'm talking to Peppy Castro soon. He was just here. He'll be back again in a few minutes. I know you love Peppy. I want you to comment, Deb. I want you to, talk about your stuff too. Because, I always try to include everybody in my my ability to interview people and talk about things, but I've got so many things going on. Peppy, you'll be back hopefully very soon. And I am just so super excited to be with you guys today to talk to Peppy. Like I said, we had a little clash with our schedules. I've been trying to get some people for like weeks and months and years. And it's been really, really tough. COVID's made it kind of a little bit easier, some a little tougher, some a little easier. But I thank Deborah for this, because Deborah got me in touch with Peppy to do this. And I was, I'm like, oh yeah, let's do this. I look at life like, if you got an opportunity to do something, you do it. If you got an opportunity to interview somebody like Liberty DeVito last week, Peppy Castro this week, you do it. You don't sit there and go, well, I don't think I have time. No, you have time. You find the time, you make the time, and you do it, because these are the parts of life that you're never going to get back ever again, right? These are the things that we do as entertainers and people in the entertainment business that other people say, wow, look at this guy go. Well, no, it's not that. It's just that, look, I look at life in a different way. Peppy's 72. God bless him. God bless him. He looks great. He's probably going to sound great. Other people I know probably don't. But that's okay, because not everybody is Peppy Castro. Not everybody is Jimmy Aschenbrenner. Not everybody is Docg. Not everybody is Deborah Milstein. We're all our own people. And yeah, you're right, Deb. It does. You're 100% right. She says it sucks. But this doesn't have to be the end of your career. This could be the beginning or a rebirth of the new career, or a part of the old career revised. You never have to look at things as a thing going down. You have to look at things, okay, we had a little problem, a little issue, we'll take care of that and smack it and go right back up. Because life is not about what you sit and contemplate about. Life is about what you do at this very moment in time, and how it affects you in the future, which could be in the next hour, 3 hours, 2 days, year, 4 or 5, 10 years, doesn't matter. The significance of doing what you need to do to make yourself who you are and where you need to be is exactly what everybody needs. Thank you, Deb. I appreciate that. And, again, I hope he comes back. He said he was probably going to lose me. He was right. But all he has to do is click on the link again and he's in. So let's see if he comes back really quick. He's trying to get back on now. Shoot, I hope he can. I'll let him know, okay. It should let him right back in. As long as he has a good Wi-Fi signal, we should be able to get him in. I have to actually wait until he comes back, but I can tell you a little bit about what's going on with us. Here comes Peppy now. Here comes Peppy. Okay. Peppy is back. Okay.
I came indoors. We're good.
I got two friends for you right away. Jimmy Aschenbrenner from The Outsiders. He's actually a good friend of mine now. He knows He's an awesome guy. He's a great. They've come out with new music too with The Outsiders.
Wow.
And Deborah Milstein she actually got me to you, and she's
Oh
there.
yeah, oh yeah. Give them both my love. That hopefully they're listening in.
There you go. She says right there, she loves Peppy. She loves Peppy, and
Listen, she reintroduced me to oh my god. His name just escapes me now too. I hadn't seen him in 50 years. He was in Blood, Sweat, and Tears and everything.
David Clayton Thomas.
No, not David.
The other guy. The
guitarist.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh my god! And I hadn't seen him in like a half a century or something. But we used to pass each other on the street every single day in the village, and I was still trying to catch you up. I was going to try and get you on my big screen here so I can see it, but I got you on the cell. I'm not going to lose you now. So
no, you're good. We're good.
Let's just fire away.
We're good. And listen, we're going to just start out with a couple. Steve Katz, his name is. She just
Steve. Yes, thank you. She fed you that, right? Yeah, thank you.
She did, because I forgot. I got that short-term memory loss since I had a mini stroke a couple of years ago. My wife asked me something the other day, and I'm like, honey, I don't really remember. I mean, I remember things in the past, but I don't remember things that happened like yesterday, the day before, or an hour ago.
That's because we were there.
That's probably it. Thanks, Steph, for that.
And we survived it.
But Peppy, let's go through your fantastic career. Come on, let's go through your career. Starting out at the Blues Magoos, how did you even get in started with playing music? What did you originally do?
Well, first of all, I left home at 14. So, people say, oh, you never graduated high school. I say, no, I never went to high school. It's like high school didn't even happen. So that was strange. But, by the grace of God, one day, some kid showed me how to play an E minor chord on a guitar. And that was it. It's like once I did that, I was transfixed. It was like an instant lightning bolt, because I realized that I could be a singer and the guy who accompanies the singer all in one person. So when that happened, everything went out the window. My Olympic mentality and passion for wanting to be that just took over. School went by the wayside. Truant officers, the law, everything. I really didn't. I don't know. Can my language border on the offensive?
Yeah, listen. No, it's whatever you want to say.
But in all honesty, I didn't give a shit about anything else,
right,
other than the passion of music, and that's what drove me. So by 14, I was like out of my home, and then I grew up in the village, and I started, hitching up with guys who played music. Fortunately for me, all the other guys were older. So I had met two of the Magoos at an Italian feast in the Bronx in a place called Villa Avenue.
Wow.
And I saw them up there playing, and there was just the three of them. And I went up and said, hey, and I started talking to them. They said, do you play? I said, yeah, well, a little. And they said, well, we're looking for a guy you want. And that was Ronnie and Ralph from the Magoos. And we went from there. We were first the Trench Coats. And then we went from being the Trench Coats to the Blues Magoos. But, by the grace of God, I had my first hit record at 17. So
who were you influenced by? Were you influenced by the Beatles, Elvis, and all the great?
Oh, well, my inspirations happened from a lifetime of just listening to the radio. So, it was rather, rather diverse, because playlists back then were just that, there wasn't 20 charts. There was one,
Yeah, you're right.
And in that one chart, you heard everybody from Benny King to Clyde McPhatter to Chubby Checker to Bobby Rydell to Bobby Darin, on and on and on. So it was really, my influences were the songs, Jimmy Rogers, Kisses Sweeter Than Wine. I mean,
great song. Great song. Still,
I mean, all those things filled my head because I emulated anything I heard on the radio. All I wanted to do was sing, So by the time I went, oh my God, I can be two people, and played a chord, and that was it. I begged my mother to get me a cheapo guitar at a pawn shop, and I went out and got a guitar chord book, and I couldn't even sit in my neighborhood and play around friends or in my apartment, because everybody just told me I sucked, and so I just said, you know what, I can't deal with this. Let me go up in the hill somewhere out in the park and sit by myself where I could just be alone. And
Oh, we lost you, Peppy. It's going to be one of them interviews.
I mean, for incoming call. There we go. Okay, so it was really it was a blessing. It was divine intervention, and then that just took me on my road. And I never looked back. And all of a sudden, now here I am, 55 years down the road, going, what, you know, how did this happen?
Amazing, absolutely
And
amazing.
and the great thing is that I still have stuff coming at me. I have a really great thing which I'll announce for you, which I have been keeping very quiet.
Oh,
But there is going to be a new show that comes out called Warhol, and it's the life of Andy Warhol. And my former manager licensed the exclusive rights from the Warhol Foundation, and ended up securing Sir Trevor. Whoops.
Oh, we lost you. Oh, this is gonna be one of them interviews, isn't it, guys? Where Peppy talks, then he goes away, and he comes back, he goes away, and stuff happens. He's holding his phone. I think it's his phone, Deb. His phone probably fell, and he's got to call back in again. So just let me reiterate a little bit what he was talking about. Of course, we're talking about his time with the Blues Magoos and all the other bands that he was with. And we're going to get into all the bands and talk a little bit about that too. We'll do whatever Peppy wants to do to make him feel comfortable. But at the same time, I want to make sure we get all the information. And if you guys got questions for him, let me know. I know this is an impromptu interview that usually I do interviews like on, like a Wednesday at 7:00 or something like that. But this is an impromptu interview that I'm doing, because Peppy and I, it works better for us this time. Actually, the time thing was a little issue, but
okay. So
back again. Go ahead, Peppy.
So that was my fault dropping the phone. I wanted to get you on my internet here on my computer in the background over there. I guess they had something like that. I figured this way I don't have to hold the phone.
Right.
But, okay. So here's the exclusive. So Sir Trevor Nunn is a knight. He's sirred. He's Sir, like Sir Paul McCartney. Right. And Sir Trevor Nunn directed Cats. He directed Les Mis.
Wow.
He directed Aida, wrote all the lyrics to Aida, wrote the lyrics to that song, Memories in the Corner of My Mind. Anyway, he's an icon.
Wow.
So my former manager, who is my partner in a musical I have called Rockin' the Planet, is a guy named Steve Lieber. Steve Lieber was Lieber Krebs, and they were the Kings of the East. They managed, if you're ready for this, they managed Aerosmith, Ted Nugent, Parliament Funkadelics, Golden Earring, Scorpion, Def Leppard, Michael Bolton, Joan Jett, and on and on and on and on. They did Beatlemania. Steve toured the Moscow Circus 4 years all over North America. Can you imagine moving 400 Russians all over the globe for 4 years? So Steve is no slouch. He offers me the opportunity to be involved with Warhol. I have 6 songs in the show.
Nice.
It is going to open Thanksgiving in London. 2021, providing a COVID snap. If they have to, they'll push it back to 2022. But the theater's booked, the show's casted, it's written. We've recorded a lot of the score. They've done some videos. So for me, at my age, thinking I was retired, sitting outside because I spend my days making music and going to the beach, pretty much. To have that opportunity, and Andy Warhol, what was one of his mantras was like, everybody has their 15 minutes of fame.
Correct. Yeah.
So naturally, I have a song in the show called 15 Minutes of Fame, and if it all goes the way I interpret it or envision it going, I'm probably going to have another 15 minutes. So, so if I'm one of these eclectic guys who've been able to operate under the radar and have a life and make a buck with diverse stuff. It's like awesome. It's like so funny. I remember like 2 years ago I did a radio interview, and the guy, I forget who he is now, but it was on the radio. He goes, "Well, we have Peppy Castro here today. Peppy Castro is not a one-hit wonder. He's a 2-hit wonder." And I started laughing my ass off. That somebody's calling me a two-hit wonder. I'm going, two-hit wonder? I said, oh, I guess you haven't heard about Diana Ross and Cher and Kiss and things like that, you
Right,
know.
right. They don't have a clue. I know.
So, you know, but that's how the world looks at you. But for me, how can I complain? You know, I mean, and Warhol's going to be a groundbreaking musical without a doubt. I have no doubt in it. So to think that I'm looking at this, you know, going to London in a year or something for you know, an opening.
Awesome. That's awesome.
You know, after these years, but you know, so anyway, but whatever. Go ahead, go dig down the psychedelic bag and throw something at me.
Well, the '60s, I got to talk about the Blues Magoos
Woo,
because the We Ain't Got Nothing Yet.
woo.
It's still played. We love it. I mean, that
Yeah.
is a real funky psychedelic song. Was that intentional at that time because of the way the era
Oh
was?
God, yeah. Oh yeah. We were in the right place at the right time. You know, I mean, I like to say that the music business or success sometimes is a lot of luck, timing, and talent. You know, and we had all three going for us, and we were certainly in the right place at the time. But all that stuff was totally by design. You know, that's who we were. We were immersed in that world. We didn't want to just write normal songs, and we didn't want to be, you know, we pushed ourselves to be unique and original and not be a cover
Nice.
band, you
Right.
know, because in those days, other than the coffee houses of the village, you could not work or play anywhere else unless you played the bars and you played the cover songs and you were a cover band, you know.
Right.
So the only avenue you really had back then was to go into the village and hit the coffee houses where, you know, there was no alcohol, but they'd let you get up and sing your own songs, you know.
Yeah.
So, but that's where the scene was. The scene was in the village, and that's where everybody in the business would go to migrate to see any kind of original talent. So that's where we discovered, you know.
Now the name, the Blues Magoos. Now the only thing I can think of Magoo was Mr. Magoo, which was that guy from
Yeah, of course, Jim Backus.
Jim Backus. So was that implied too, or was it?
No, there was nothing. There was nothing in reference to Jim Backus. I just think, you know, people looked at us as these guys are. They can't be serious. you know, you know, because look, I mean, we used to walk into radio stations. I used to hairspray my hair, one side gold and the other side silver. You know, I mean, we were doing Parliament Funkadelics before they even made a record. You know, we were walking in with, you know, I had one pane in my glasses and one pane out. You know, I'd have a bowling shoe and a cowboy boot. You know, I mean, we were just not taking ourselves serious, but we were having fun. You know,
Yeah.
so I think Magoos was one of those silly words that rhymed with blues and Magoos and you know, it's something that just stuck. And you know, I think we're one of those one-hit wonders because of We Ain't Got Nothing Yet. It's just like one of those groundbreaking songs that showed some kind of real decent musicality. You know, in those days, you know, you never heard a record on the radio that was a shuffle. You know, you never heard that. You know, you heard that in maybe blues clubs and with serious blues songs,
Right.
and then you never heard. You never heard that kind of minor run, which, you know, that wasn't just a kid strumming on a guitar. You know, there was some great intelligence in that simple record. I think that telegraphed to people, wow, this is really unique, you know. And I think that's why it still gets looked on as one of those classic one-hit wonders as opposed to one of the run-of-the-mill one-hit wonders, you know, like a song like I Love You for Today and Yesterday, there's tomorrow. What was that? The Spiral
Staircase.
Staircase,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like, you know, people consider that a one-hit wonder. That is one of like the greatest songs I've ever heard in my life. You know what I mean?
It still is. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I love that song to this day. I could sing it, go out and be very happy just humming that song in my head. You know, it's just like one of those iconic things, you know. And so, you know, and that's where Breaking Away comes in. Even though Breaking Away wasn't a top, it was top 10 most everywhere, but it was a bona fide hit, you know. But I have people who I revere who are like fabulous, well-known producers, and they come out and go, "That's one of my all-time best top 20 songs ever," you know, and that's what makes it a hit to me. The fact that people I revere go like, "Man, you wrote one of the greatest all-time songs I've ever heard," and you know what? I wrote that song in 20 minutes.
Well, Peppy, it's not so much one hit wonders. I think it's what it is a lack of knowledge from the public, because if you take like groups like Player in the 70s, well, Baby Come Back was the only song. No, they had many hits. Really? No, the one hit wonder. No, no, many hits.
Yes, but
go into their discs and see.
But the business is McDonald's, throw it
exactly.
Throw it up against the wall and see what it sticks. Like, okay. And then the business is like fickle. They're like, okay, well, what they do last time out? Oh, they didn't do so well. Next, and then like now here's new beef, chicken, and broccoli.
Yeah.
So it's that's what you deal with, and then you get typecast and thrown in that little box. But I was lucky because I've always reinvented the wheel. I never wanted to become an imitation of myself, So the different bands I've had and the different things and the musicals and doing hair on Broadway and all that kind of stuff kept me fresh all the time, And so I'm here. I'm still here. I get to talk about myself.
We're going to talk about all that stuff, but I want to talk about your touring. Who did you tour with when you were in the Blues Magoos and the Balance and all that? Did you tour with a lot of people, a lot of bands, a lot of people?
Well, because the Magoos were the 60s in the epic center of what was going on there. That touring was diverse and extensive. And one of the great things about it was that in those days, as you you didn't walk into a stadium for $500 a ticket to see one act. You went in for $350,
right.
And you went into a civic auditorium, and then it was maybe 14 acts or 15 acts, and everybody came on and did 20 minutes. And to me, that was the greatest thing on earth, because I would sit. And I would sit on the side of the stage and be in pure heaven, because all the people I loved were there, in real time. Like I'd get out on the stage and Cream would come on, and then Martha awesome. And the Vandellas would come on, and then the Magoos would come on. And then Wilson Pickett would come on, like the Murray to KRKO shows. And there was a guy down south named Dan Brennan. I don't know if you ever know. He owned a block of stations all across the South, Birmingham and all that kind of stuff. And if you've gone on one of his shows, I mean, I would be out there going, oh my God, Leslie Gore. Mamas and the Papas.
Yeah, just amazing names.
So it was so diverse and it was so musical, because nothing was cookie cutter. All these songs were so creative and entirely different. The 60s will never be repeated again. Obviously, something different will come up, but by and large, I don't see how anything touches it, because it was so diverse. I mean, I used to listen to Manfred Mann and go like, these songs are great. And then I'd look on the album and I'd say, oh, Goffin and King, they were smart enough to go cut songs from great songwriters. Acts like Jay and the Americans, Only in America, right?
Yeah.
Only in America was written for the Drifters, right? But when they thought about it, they said, oh, we can't have a black act sing this song Only in America, because it's not true, Only in America. Yeah, right. BS, yet all the white artists were emulating the black artists, because they had that God-given gospel blues R&B talent, and everybody said, we love that. I want to do that. Look at the British invasion. What was this? It was just a reflection of American artists who were slighted. That's why kudos to a guy like Felix Cavalieri and the Rascals. Felix made sure that all his opening acts were black artists.
That's good. That's really good.
He had a conscience. So listen, you take it one day at a time. but there's no way. I mean, Balance did very limited touring. We did Foghat, Boston, a few acts and things like this. But Balance didn't get the support from the label.
That's terrible.
And they lost the record and stuff like that. We ended up having more of a base in Europe than in the United States. You know, so you just gotta roll with the punches. Fortunately for me, I fell into the jingle business in New York, and I did that for 20 years. And that allowed me to be a musician with a pension. What a novel idea.
Good thing you did that. But what the Balance album? What was that like? I mean, because I never heard. I only heard the single because it's in the U.S. What is the album like, and can you get it? Because I would love to.
Yeah, you can probably find it online somewhere. The first album was just called Balance, and the second album was called Into the Count. And they are state of the art, a musician's band.
Nice.
If ever you want to listen to just the top of the line, first class AOR rock and roll, hands down, it's the Contemporaries are Journey and Foreigner. We were in that bag, and although we didn't have the luck and the success of it, we were every bit as good and every bit as polished.
Sure.
And Tony Bon Jovi co-produced with us at the Power Station in New York. And, really, on the first album, who did we have? We had Andy Newmark, Willie Weeks. They were Arif Mardin's rhythm section for every great record that ever came out,
Right.
And so, they were like, come on, they played on 20, 30 top 10 records.
Like the Wrecking Crew for the 60s. Same type of thing. Just like newer ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So, the Magoos were great. I mean, we toured on the first tour that broke the Who in the United States, and it was the Blues Magoos, Herman's Hermits, and the Who. And we went out for the whole summer of 1967, and it was mayhem. It was, mayhem because, Keith Moon. So I have got a million Keith Moon stories, because I was the only jerk who would still go out with him after he trashed rooms and hotels and cracked lamps over people's heads and everything else like that. And then even I just said, like, okay, I want to live. So you're not going to go out with Keith anymore. But I have been writing a book for years. It's going to be called The Prince of McDougal Street. And because the Night Owl Cafe was on 3rd and McDougal. And so, my Keith Moon stories will show up in there for sure, and stuff like that. And, it's hard for me to write it because I'm still living it, Yeah.
So, is that still there?
No, the Night Owl Cafe ended up being a Japanese restaurant after it was Bleecker Bob's for like 30 years. It became a record store. But that's like hallowed ground to me. So, but because I was a kid, another funny one is, I left home at 14. So I was not allowed to be out on the street.
Right.
I was not allowed to be living on my own. I was not allowed to be out of school. So I literally was on stage one night. I saw 2 detectives walk into the door because I'm a street kid. So I know the difference between guys walking in plain clothes that are 6'4" and 6'3", looking like totally out of place in hippie land, with my mother calling me, telling me they're going to put me away in a place called the Children's Village in Dobbs Ferry because I'm a truant, in a reformatory. And I see these guys walk into the door and I go, and I know immediately they're detectives looking for me to take me back to this place. I run off the stage in the middle of a song at 14 years old. I run off the stage. I ran out the back door of the Night Owl Cafe, up over the roof, climb over a roof into another building, come down in another building in the staircase, and run and leave. And now I got the fear of God in me. By the grace of God, 2 months later, the truant officer finds me. He didn't look like a detective, and he was a nice guy. So I figured, okay, he's talking to me like, what gives? I knew something was up. And then he finally tells me, like, listen, this is what I am, and this is who I am. I don't want to hurt you, but we have to resolve something here, or you're going to be sitting the next 2 years in a reformatory, And so I listened to him. So he goes, listen, would your parent, because I only had my mom, would your parent co-sign a release form for you if I can get you legally signed out of the school system, because in New York laws, you could legally be signed out of school at 16 with your parents' consent.
Correct.
So I go to him, I say, yeah, I think she would. And he goes, that's great. Great. Okay, good, good. He goes, oh, when are you going to be 16? And my face drops because I'm 14.
Yeah.
So I look at him, I go, I'm going to be 15 in 3 months. And then his face drops. You know what this guy did? This guy brought me back to DeWitt Clinton High School in the Bronx 3 weeks before my 15th birthday and forged my birth certificate, and got me signed out of the school system before I hit my 15th birthday.
So he must have saw something in you, because you've broken every rule.
Well, I was playing.
And look at how successful you became.
Listen, I was playing 4 sets a night at the Night Owl Cafe, living at the Hotel Albert in Greenwich Village. So he knew I wasn't on the street.
Right.
But that man, God bless him, he changed my life.
God, wow,
that's amazing. He saved my life. I've heard he passed away, and I've lost touch with his daughter. Aww. and forget his name even now. But the universe knows how much I love that guy, and the fact that he literally saved my life and my career. It was one of those aha moments that allowed me to go on.
That's an impressive story. What about the instruments you play? You said you play a little bit of guitar. What else do you play?
Well, when you're in bands for 50 years, and it started with the Magoos. I had a thirst for knowledge, even though I didn't, but I wanted to learn what I wanted to learn and not what they were trying to tell me. Right. I had to learn and to be compliant, So every time I strum a chord on the guitar, I go over to Ralph on the keyboard. I go, what is this for you? If this is what it is for me, what is this for you? And then I started getting into the keyboard and started transferring things that I knew on guitar on the piano. And then I loved the musicality of the piano and the fact that, in a guitar, everything's like linear. It's this way, but on the piano, it's like laid out right in front of you. You see it all there. And so the melodics, and so my writing became dominant on piano for many, many, many years. And it is even now, because I not only embraced instruments, I embraced the technology that came in, with the sequencing and the digital recording. Correct. And all the software and that kind of stuff. So I was very fortunate in that respect. And bass became a natural. Same thing with drums. I had tons of rhythm. I loved rhythm. So, I'd be like, hey, okay, how do you play this beat? What is this? So after 50 years of that, I'm a little Prince McCartney kind of guy that travels in that kind of realm, that when I look at tape or the digital realm, it's like a painting to me, and so I take all the colors and I use all the colors and I fill up the paper. And at the end of the day, I have my song and I'm playing all the instruments and I'm singing all the parts. And if I want to have other people play cameos, that's great. Like, for instance, Balance is a band. So because I'm doing a one-off with Balance, we lost a member. We lost a guy named Bob Kulick this year, who is Bruce Kulick's brother. Bruce was in Kiss for 15 years, 13 years. And so I have Bruce playing taking over his brother's slot for this tribute record. I went and called Chuck, who was the drummer on the last album, and I said, would you play? I'd like to get as many of the original people together, and I'd like to make some kind of a tribute and put a one-off, then to put in a little cap for myself and things like that. So, it's so I do use other people. And I've collaborated on Warhol and things like that. But I love playing, but all of it has always been the end to justify the means. It was always, again, learning the studio stuff was so that I didn't have to pay $150 at 1 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock in the morning for studio time in New York at the best studio, because I wanted to record my songs,
Right.
I would do all the pre-production I could so that I didn't have to waste time in the studio and waste my money, because I was always self-financing myself, because presentation is everything, and you don't advance as a musician unless you have a great presentation and you can go to the powers that be and say, hey, do you like these songs? And they go, yeah, I love them. I love you. Hey, you're great. I want to sign you. That kind of mentality is all the stuff that had to do. So my writing is my musicality. I don't consider myself a musician's musician, but that's based on what's up in here and the things I hear and the things that I write. So I've always approached myself as a songwriter, and those are my babies. Those are the songs of what I have. To think I still see checks for We Ain't Got Nothing Yet.
It's awesome.
55 years later, that's insane.
But
even though it's $1.380, but at any point in time, somebody come out of the woodwork and say, we like that song. We're going to put it in a movie, or we're going to put it in this, and you go like, oh my God, it's like the gift that keeps on giving, it's crazy, and so, my jingle career was great. I toughed it out. I stayed in there 20 years, and I was still able to do balance and do other things and write songs for other people.
Wow, what an amazing career you've had! Just amazing.
And make records. So that's great. Gene Simmons was really instrumental in a lot of things to me. He's been such a sweet cat to me. I still talk to Paul all the time. I called him up the other day and just said, "Okay, man, congrats." He's got this new. He's got this new R&B classics, and you see, but Paul's smart enough to know that even though he's going to do retreads on some of the great old songs that he was weaned on, he's smart enough to say, and I'll write 5 songs of my own and put it in the package, because there's where the money is for him, in the publishing and the writer's rights. So, they're so iconic. But Gene was the guy who turned me on to Diana Ross. I had 2 huge B-sides with Diana Ross. I had the B-side of Missing You. Ooh, I'm missing you. Tell me where the road turns.
Good song. Great song.
Great song.
Yeah.
And I had the B-side on that single with a song I wrote called We Are the Children of the World, right? Now, the song was going to come out. I'm thinking, great, I got the B-side of Diana Ross's net single. This is fabulous, great. It tanks at 50. And I'm going, I'm like, all right. And I'm okay, and it was about Marvin Gaye. It was an ode to Marvin Gaye and the way he died, you know. And so I said, okay, well, live and let learn. That was good. You had a good shot. You thought it was that, and then she went on the Academy Awards and sang it. And in 2 weeks, it was top 10.
That's amazing.
So, you talk about luck, timing, and talent, and the power of TV and the medium, and that's it. All she had to do. And then I had the B-side of Swept Away, nothing lasts forever. And Daryl, who's an old buddy, Daryl Hall, wrote Swept Away, And again, I had a song called Fight For It because Diana loved the song I wrote for her, and she called me and she said, would you write with me? I went like, no.
Well, I got
no, Diana, you're a screaming rapacious swamp sow, and I want nothing to do with you. It's like,
Peppy, I got a couple comments here. Debbie says that Deborah Milstein says Bobby Nathan, who was at her house when Steve Katz was there, owned a big recording studio in New York City. She wanted to let you know.
Oh, well, I was there. I know Bobby before he even owned the recording studio.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And my friend John Wagner said he does glass art of Kiss photos, handmade. If anybody knew, he would like you to tell Gene or Paul that he does that.
That he does what? Handmade?
He does glass art. In other words, he etches glass with their pictures.
Well, you know what? He should.
He has no way of getting in touch with them, and he actually works with me. He's part of my crew.
Well, send me an email on him.
I will. I'll send information, John, to you about Peppy, and you can talk to him about it. I lost your audio, Peppy.
My history, is what they call it, is such because I was instrumental in Ace Frehley's learning guitar.
I
I
didn't know that.
more Peppy
More stuff for
trivia.
the book,
Yes,
right?
I am Ace's earliest influence, and I taught him how to play some guitar. Yeah, so that's groundbreaking. I mean, it was nice enough to put me in his book and give me the kudos on that, and I've seen him say that in interviews and stuff like that. But that's why the Kiss fans are like, you taught Ace Frehley how to play guitar. Oh my God. So but maybe there's something there with your buddy and Ace with Glass and stuff like, because he's the space guy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
but you have my email, so you can send me anything. I mean, I am a text and a phone call away.
Yeah, but what you don't like to do, and this is what I always say. I mean, Liberty is the same way. Liberty, just say anything, whatever to do. Listen, no, but what we don't like to do in the business is, I've got a friend that does this, and I got a friend to do that. I don't like to do that because sometimes things go sour, and you feel like people want to pressure you to do things that you can't really do. It happens all the time.
Please. I'd be a much more wealthier man had I been able to accommodate half of the hey, can you do this? Can you do this for me?
I know.
Can you get so and so to sign this? Can you do that? And, it's like I'm a friggin' dork, like veal cutlet, but they want me because they want Paul to sign something, or Ace to sign something, or Joey Kramer from Aerosmith to sign something, or this one, or can you get me in to see this? Can you get me a signed picture, please, sent to my grandmother? I mean, it's like, it never ends. And even in my jingle career, I got to tell you, there's an old adage there, years and years ago, that if you did a commercial, you were a sellout, right? You were selling out,
Right.
And I was like, well, wait a minute, art is when you sit at home and you write a song. The minute you take that song out of your house to do anything with it, you are in the capitalistic realm. And I used to tell people, I said, you're full of BS, because there are no bigger whoas in the world than the record companies.
Yeah.
So, I said, so what it is. And then sure enough, every single week of my jingle career, I would have singers, recording artists, musicians, recording artists begging me, can I get them in? And I was like, listen, man, I didn't knock on a door. I got asked in. And I said, it's almost like if you have to ask, you're out, because you don't ask into those businesses where people are earning a livelihood every single day.
Exactly.
And the best people in the world are being used. I mean, my sessions every day. Who was on my sessions? Oh, okay. Will Lee, Paul Schaefer, Anton Fig, Steve Gadd,
big names. Yeah, big names.
The first choice musicians, because they were the guys that could come into the studio, read a chart, knock out the song in 30 minutes, as opposed to band member guys that would come in and maybe 2 hours to struggle through it. Yeah. So it's a very, very fickle business, but again, I'm one of those guys that I'm lucky enough. I became like a little freak of nature, because I can sit, even in my jingle career, I wrote a spot for Soft and Dry, right? If you're not a little nervous, then you're not alive. Just because something's hard to do doesn't mean that you won't try. Well, if you want to stay cool, soft and dry, come on, soft and dry, boom.
I remember that,
right?
Yeah.
Right? So I wrote this spot. The agency came to the music house I worked with, and they said, well, we don't know what we want, but we just want people to know that, soft and dry, if you're nervous about sweating situations, that soft and dry keep you cool and calm and collected, and put this under your arm and you're going to be just great. And so I wrote the whole thing from scratch. I recorded all the instruments. I did everything myself, and then it went on to air. And I said, great, they took my spot. Oh my God, they didn't call Willie and these guys in. They took exactly what I did and they put it on the air. Well, you know what? I got paid as 8 musicians.
That's so cool.
I got my creator's fee. I did hire a fabulous female singer because they wanted a female to sing it, and stuff like that. But I was like, okay, this works. I like this. This is pretty cool, you know. So, you know, so it's just you live and learn. You the twists and turns. You never know where it's going to come from. It's like I had no idea Steve Lieber was going to call me up and say, "Hey, you want to take a shot at Warhol?" You know, he was dealing with the biggest of the big. But what happened was he had a guy named Stephen Schwartz write 6 songs. Now, Stephen Schwartz was signed with Sir Trevor Nunn and Rupert Holmes to do the book. Stephen Schwartz wrote, he's the composer for Wicked, for Godspell,
Wow.
for Pippin. You know, I mean, these guys are icons. And so I'm going, Steve, what are you calling me for? You know, like, what happened to Stephen Schwartz? He said, well, Stephen wants to control the whole thing. He wants to control all the music. He goes, and I'm not having it. I'm the guy that paid the $1 million to the Warhol Foundation for the options. So he goes, no, this is my baby. And so, you know, so if you want to take a stab, take a stab. And then I took Sir Trevor Nunn's lyrics with a buddy of mine in Balance, a guy named Docg, who's beyond brilliant. And so now I have bona fide 6 songs in the show. And I'm like, okay, great. So you know, you just don't know where it's going to come from. But it does come. And thankfully, I have nothing to prove to anybody.
No, you don't. You've done everything and everything.
Anymore. I've survived since I'm 14 years old in a business that eats you up and spits you out.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, so you know, it's like if Warhol happens, great. If it doesn't, I really don't give a shit.
You can add it to your resume as a good thing or whatever, you know.
You know, because at the end of the day, you know, you know, I'm just happy. I love that I have wonderful friends and people in my life, and you know, I love being able to sit out on the beach or out by the pool here, or go up to my house. I got a house built in 1760. I live below my means, so that I can live on a pension. You know, but you know, it's like really I don't have anything to prove. So it's a funny place to be because when I'm younger, you know, I had everything to prove. You know, you're batting down doors, you're jumping at hoops to for any opportunity possible and stuff like that. It's not that I'm a fat cat or an icon or anything. It's just, you know, I have peace. You know,
no, I think you're just like a real world person, but you just an
I'm
average,
out of my mind.
No, but you're an average guy to me because I understand what you're saying. And when you look at yourself at a higher elevation, you know, people, of course, all do. And I'm sure, you know, a lot of people say that, but you are there. But
right.
I still see you as a regular guy from, you know, from where you grew up.
That's it.
And you just were successful. And
Yeah,
you're proving to people they can be successful. And you've helped people be successful. So you've done literally everything that a person would need to do. Make it in the business, be successful to help other people, and then just keep creating what you're doing because you're not going to stop.
Well, I got to tell you, throughout my career, I went through things to where I saw people who I know and love, but they were like, "Oh no, you can't hang out with that guy, or you can't do this, or you know." And it was like, you know, we're like, you know, we're certain people. We're on this level. You can't get down with the worker bees. You have to be, you know, up this. And I saw lots of friends and people. You know, they wouldn't consider even going out with a normal person. It had to be somebody that was in their station in life, and you know, and where I want to be a power couple and all that, which is fine if that's what works for him. I don't judge it, but that wasn't me, you know.
No, you don't seem like that type of guy. Let's talk a little bit about Hair because Hair was a huge musical. You know, of course, the Castles. We met actually Susan Castle and one of the Castles, I think, still left. One of the her brother.
Oh, no, they're there. The Castles are there. I saw them just recently because I inducted Jimmy Rado into the Rochester Music Hall of Fame. Jimmy was one of the I'm supposed to be someplace because I thought we were going to do 4:00. So I'm just.
Oh, we can end it whenever you're ready, brother. I'm good.
I'm just trying to text my.
I don't want to set you off. I don't want no problem.
No, it's just a matter of me giving him a quick shout out and say, "Hey, I'm doing the interview now." You know,
we'll be done in probably another 10 minutes because we went a little bit short.
Yeah. No, it's good. Just bear with me 1 second. But Hair was absolutely. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'll tell you the good, bad, and ugly. Anything you want to know about Hair, for sure.
Well, you worked with the cast in Hair too, right? You did Don Dacus.
I was a principal actor in Hair on Broadway for a year and a half. So I wasn't a musician in it playing. I was an actual singing, dancing actor on Broadway for a year and a half.
Okay.
7 shows a week.
So you actually did the one live in Broadway. You didn't do the movie. You did the
no,
actual...
I was in the original Broadway production.
Oh, okay.
For a year and a half, and that was before the movie existed. That's what fed the movie. That's what fed the fact that there was going to be a movie, because the show was so successful, and that was great, man. That was 8 shows a week on Broadway. Come Monday, I collapse. 2.5 hours running around on a stage like Tarzan swinging from a vine onto the stage with hardly anything on a wireless mic in your hand, and walking around Broadway and having families come up to you going, "Oh my God, we saw you last night," because they couldn't miss you because, I looked like a tree, so it's like, oh, that's, it's not like you're almost wondering, is that the guy you saw last night? There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Because anybody that was walking around Broadway back then, and, if you did matinees and things like that, you went out to Joe Allen's or certain clubs and, certain places, and you had yourself a bite to eat, and then you went back and you did the night show and stuff like that. But for a year and a half, it was a long run, and it was a great experience. It was an amazing experience, but it was crazy because they were toxic times, and we had speed freaks, junkies, gays. The black girl did all the apricot brandy before they went. The white chicks were popping speed to get through time release speed to get through 8 shows a week. It was crazy.
Wow.
I was smoking real joints on stage. I mean, it was like, ah!
And guess what? 50 years later, it's legal.
So, yeah.
Who would have thought?
50 years later, I'm as straight as an arrow. I do absolutely nothing. I don't even take any kind of meds or anything. I mean, I'm like completely organic.
Good. That's good.
It's like, and I'm high on life. So thank God that happened, because by all rights, I mean, listen, I grew up in rooms with Timothy Leary, and in the village with I was like the baby back then, but they shuttled me around, and oh my God, the pot stories and and it was just crazy because, the Magoos, we would get searched and strip searched everywhere we went because these are a psychedelic rock and roll band. So like they didn't pound the gear, you'd have to sit in an airport for 3 hours while they strip searched you, and they did all this stuff. And I'd be telling them, guys, listen, you don't understand. It's the guys with the crew cuts that are smuggling. It's not us fucking hippies. We just smoke the shit, But the real guys you want are the guys that are running around with the crew cuts.
And that's probably the truth. Yeah.
Oh, it was. Let me tell you.
It's the opposite of what they think.
Yeah, and they didn't smoke a thing, but they liked making their money. The smuggling stuff in 2-man submarines from Hawaii. Buying and selling companies for Gulf oil.
The big stuff.
Stuff that just makes you go, what?
Yeah.
But it never ends. It's all relative. I mean, look at the world today, right? Are we not in like the craziest insanity ever?
Yeah, absolutely. What have you been doing since COVID? Just singing and relaxing?
Listen, some people hate that I'm in Florida. I love that I'm in Florida because it's the freest place on earth right now. Some people say, "Oh, you're only making it worse." I'm like, no. I got my N95, I got my Purell, I keep my distance, I walk around, but I like being able to go to a restaurant and a table and sit outside and 6 feet away. I like being able to go to the beach. I like having some sense of normalcy, normal life. I mean, look, when I go flight, I'm going up to New York on the 14th. It's probably my 7th trip to New York via Palm Beach, PBI airport to any one of the airports in New York.
Mhm.
What do you have to do? I have to stand 6 feet apart on a security line that takes now twice as long,
Mhm.
okay, to get through, and keep my distance, keep my mask on. To what? To sit on an airplane packed,
Yeah.
sold out, with people next to me here and people
Again,
next to me.
nothing makes sense, does it?
No.
Why does one make sense and the other doesn't make sense? I don't
It's
understand that.
it's the tail wagging the dog. It's like
Money. It's all money.
but yeah, well, listen, we know, yes, absolutely. At the end of the day, it comes down to the Benjamins, it comes down to Big Pharma, the corporations, the media conglomerates, the propaganda, no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on.
It does not matter. It does not matter.
Control, compliance. I mean, you call it what you want. Me, I put love out. There's no politics on my Facebook page.
Beautiful.
I put love out into the world because there's never enough love. My songs have a
I agree.
conscience. I'm not writing songs that are negative. I write songs that are positive. I got a little thing I put out called The Color of Life, which is on YouTube. If anybody wants to go look at Peppy Castro, The Color of Life, it'll come up. It's my demo, because really what I'm at the point now to where I'm trying to get a global cast of kids from all over the world,
Right.
for rocking the planet, because it's a beautiful message. I don't have adults do the show. I have kids do the show, preteens and teenagers, and
Nice.
they're just magical. They light up. I did it in San Antonio 2 years ago, won a San Antonio Globe Award for it. The kids are magnificent. I found a purpose that I love, because kids just, the world hasn't eaten them up and spit them out yet, and so, but I do things for myself, and I just, I just enjoy it. I don't hurt anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to be hurt. I go about life. There's not enough love in the world, and but these are dark times. Like, for me, do I ever think I'm going to see New York go back to being the way it was within my lifetime? No, I don't. I don't see how that's possible. It's not New York anymore. The restaurants are in the streets.
Yeah, that's the same way here in New Jersey. It's the virus actually goes to sleep at 10 o'clock, and my one friend said, and I said, well, I don't agree with that, but in some form, you're right, because they shut the bars down at 10 o'clock, and all the moms and pops can have to close, but all the other businesses are open. And again, I don't understand.
They've been killed, and the difference is whether you like the Florida numbers or you don't like the Florida numbers. Yes, you know what? Is Florida up there with Texas and New York and California? Absolutely, because they are the big conglomerates of New York. But Florida is under attack because everybody's coming here. Hollywood is coming here. The Hollywood studios, they're booking. They're coming to Miami. They're coming to Hollywood, Florida. New York is infiltrated by New York liberal Democrats that don't want to deal with New York because they're wealthy enough. They don't care. They're booking. They're out of there. They're all coming down here, So there's an overload. There's an abundance. You can't, if I want to sell my apartment, I can sell it in a day down here.
I believe that.
Oh, it's true. It's true. There's a boom in insanity down here. So, unfortunately, Florida ends up being in line with all the places that did lock down, and they didn't, So who knows anymore? I give it up to the universe,
And I do too. At
the end of the day, you know what? I have a phrase: the universe always wins. So whatever's going on down here is just, we're just all crawling all over each other, trying to make sense of it, I'm writing a song now called Just Another Day to Get It Right.
I like that. I like the sound of that.
And I'm writing that because that's what Richie Havens used to say. Hey, man, just another day to get it right. That's what he would tell me. Richie and I were very close. I met him when I was 14. He sang me one of the most amazing songs I've ever heard in my life. Just he and I at 14 years old. And from then on, I was like, oh, my God. I'm in love with this man, and we stayed friends over the years and stuff like that. And that was one of Richie's phrases, just another day to get it right. You know, and that's really all we have. You
Yeah,
know,
very true.
we've got the moment, and it's just another day to get it right. You know, because the more we know, the more we know we don't know. You know,
You're right, Peppy. You're right.
Sometimes the answer is there is no answer. You know, and when people say, "Oh, it's the secret to life," they say that because it's a secret.
Well, I just want to offer you this opportunity, my friend.
Yeah,
John,
life is good. Life is good, man.
So
Life is
much
good.
stuff going on. So much stuff going on.
Woo.
So I want to give you time to tell people where they can find you, where they can get your music, and everywhere. Go ahead.
Let's say where you can find me floating around the universe somewhere. You can email me at Peppy, Peppy, the letter C, Peppy C at optonline.net, Peppy C at optonline.net. You can find me on one of two Facebook pages. My personal one's maxed out. That's ridiculous. There's like hundreds and hundreds of people I haven't even responded to yet because I can't. And, you know, that's over the 5,000 mark. But the official one, which I guess I can have as many as others, I don't promote myself. I don't you know, I don't boost. I don't do this. I don't do that. I'm just living. If you love my music, I'm as happy as sin. You know, there's nothing like being validated and appreciated. But you know, you can find me on Facebook. My website is there, but I don't even use it anymore. You know, it's like it's got dated material on it. But peppyc at optonline.net. And the Facebook official page is probably the best way to get in touch with me, and we can go from there. And you'll send me the glass guy and the glass menagerie, and we'll.
I will. Can you do a sweeper for me too?
Would I do a what?
A sweeper or a liner for me?
Absolutely.
Just all you have to say is who you are and say you're listening to Hamilton Radio. That's fine.
So what is it? Oh, say, Hamilton. Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, Hamilton. I did this 25 years. Come on.
Amazing. Okay, you ready?
Go ahead.
Hey, this is Peppy Castro, the legend in his own mind, wishing you happiness, joy, and peace and levity. And if you don't listen to Hamilton Radio, you are missing out because it rocks like a big dog in space.
I love you, brother.
All right, man.
Gene. Back sometime.
Hey, anytime,
this Warhol thing comes
anytime, out. Anytime. And thank to our mutual friend there, you know, for putting us together.
Deborah Milstein's incredible.
Yeah. I'm sure she's listening and laughing and all this.
She is.
Yeah, Deborah, fight the good fight. Stay with the program. I know sometimes you vacillate, and sometimes you can tend to be depressed and stuff like that. But just remember, if you're bored, you're boring.
That's true. There's always another day. Like you said, the next day we'll get it right. Let's do that.
Just another day to get it right. Keep the faith. All right,
Thank you, brother. Thanks for being here. Have a
great
pleasure,
day. Buddy. All right, man. You too, man. All right. Bye-bye.